Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about fat loss, specifically fat loss, not weight loss. So today I want to start with the basics. A lot of conversations coming in from current clients and previous clients. Calories cutting too low is super common. You hear all about these crazes of 1,200 calories or lower. I've even had some clients come to me that were majority vegetarian or higher in vegetables, lower in meats, and no processed foods. Perfectly fine, nothing wrong with that, except their problem was they were only eating about 600 to 700 calories per day. So what ends up happening is their metabolism slows way down because it's not getting enough calories to function properly or even create muscle or recover from their workouts or anything they're doing in life. So all those stressors keep building up. So these people never actually see fat loss. They might see the scale drop a little bit when they're having good days or they're overly hydrated. But in general, their metabolisms are slowing down and they're setting themselves for long-term issues. The second thing that is very, very common is they are doing too much cardio and then not enough weight training. So we've all known the person that runs every day or cardio bunnies or elliptical, or you see someone on the Stairmaster. Oftentimes they look the same weeks, months, even years later. That's not good. Their bodies are just breaking down. They're not building muscle. They're not eating the right nutrients to put on muscle, recover, which is why all their biofeedback markers, which is our sleep, our health, our mood, our energy levels throughout the day, our skin, there's so many factors that go into that, all start to decrease, especially if they get blood work done. They'll even see that their blood work starts to decreasing over time when they're just doing too much cardio and they're under eating. And the third thing that is just the one thing that no one ever does, so when they come to us, the biggest issue here is they never assess where they currently are. So they just start a program because their friend's doing it. They start a program because it's the new year. They start something new without seeing where they currently are. So if you're already under eating and you undereat more, or you cut back, I'm gonna skip breakfast today. Unfortunately, you're just setting yourself back even farther from your goals. So it's very frustrating on my end to hear clients just going cycle after cycle that just don't know any better. So I want to give you guys some education today on a few things we do here at Spitz Fitness, but as well as stuff you guys can do on your own so you guys can take something away from this. So when the calories are too low, the problem, we have decreased sleep, decreased energy, and your mood, and you become irritable. So all of those things happen when you have too low of calories. And yes, all of us get there, whether we're at high calories or low calories, we all get hangry. So someone knows if you don't eat and you're starving, everyone gets irritable. It becomes just this, it doesn't matter what it is, it will make you pissed off. And that's when you're hangry. You're hungry for food and you're just missing out. And so you let out your emotions and angers through that. So let's dive into the decreased energy. These are people that pretty much wake up in the morning, maybe they don't eat breakfast, they eat lunch and dinner and maybe a snack in the day. There's nothing wrong with that if you're drinking enough water, you're not over caffeinated. So we see a lot of people that come in that they have energy swings throughout the day. They're good if they have breakfast, they're good if they have mid-morning snack, they have some coffee, but then that lunchtime hits and they have a bigger lunch and it's not paired correctly, it's not optimized for them. They get kind of sleepy after lunch and then they decide, okay, I can get another energy drink, I can eat a candy bar, I could do something to get me higher in energy, and it just doesn't work. It's very not sustainable for long-term health. We have a few methods that we use with different clients because some clients just don't eat in the morning. Nothing wrong with that. Coffee's not bad for you. Having an energy drink, still not the most terrible thing, but we don't want to rely on just caffeine. We don't want to rely on artificial sweeteners midday Or even some people just go straight to candy bars. Or you've seen people that do energy shots, the little 5-hour energies. Those are the same things as having an energy drink or big, large coffee. You know, you're getting the caffeine, you're getting some sugars. So we want to have you having maintained energy. That is different for each individual. So that's why we ask you questions. We learn about the individual so that we can build out the custom protocol to help you sustain energy. The other one, if you're drinking too much caffeine, that usually disrupts your sleep. Also, if you eat a large, we're talking eating like a king or queen at dinner time, this typically leads to you being very groggy, very tired, which you're like, yes, I can finally sleep. Downside, you get disrupted sleep because your body is working so hard to break that food down. So we definitely want to watch the timing of the foods, how large the foods are. Are the foods easy for you to digest at night? All of those factors come into play when we're looking for optimizing sleep. So when the calories are too low, you're going to be hangry, you're going to have irritabilities in the evening, you're going to be moody, so you're going to have hankerings and cravings for stuff. When you're depriving your body of calories, you're also depriving it of happiness in a lot of ways. So that can just lead to a downward spiral. So all of these work together, and most of the time they're brought on by very low calories. So we don't want you to have to resort to using sleep aids. Some people are high dose melatonin. They don't have a nighttime or morning routine to set up their flow for the day, their energy levels, positivity. So ultimately, it leads them back to being hangry throughout most of the day. So here at Spitz Fitness, we do a few different things to help our clients. At the very beginning, we do a metabolic assessment. The benefit is this tells us exactly where they are right then and there. You know, we talk to the client, we find out about the client. During the metabolic assessment, we get to find out what phase of life they're in, what phase of dieting, what phase, what season. So here we do actually a year-round protocol. You are not always cutting. That is very, very bad for long-term health. We need you in homeostasis. We need you at maintenance. We need you in a surplus. Depending on your goals, we have to put you in the right place. So to dive into that a little deeper, once we do the assessment, we find out if you need a restoration phase, where maybe you've been eating too low for too long. We have to restore your metabolism. So we have a couple of methods that we do to kind of help you along the way, get you back functioning, firing on all cylinders. Maybe you already just came out of a restoration phase from another coach, or you did it on your own and you did a great job, and we decided, hey, you have a trip coming up in a few weeks. We want to have you ready. So we want to do a pre-cutting phase. So the pre-cutting phase, we kind of prepare your body. Maybe you weren't tracking as frequently. Now we're going to be tracking. So we're going to be focusing on getting you ready for a cutting phase. The next one will be a cutting phase. The cutting phase, we're going to be focused primarily on not cutting you down to 1,200 or less calories. That's not the point. We're going to have you doing more resistance training. We're going to have you doing some HIIT cardio maybe. It depends on what your specific goals are and how big of the cut we're going to be, how long is the duration going to be. So all those factors come into it, and ultimately we want to get back to that homeostasis. Homeostasis is where we live. That is our normal day-to-day life. A lot of us, we want to get to a certain point. We want to lose some body fat. We want to put on a little bit of muscle. Whatever that is for you, we are here to help you get to that level. So if you're cutting, we're going to cut you. We're going to do the restoration phase, and then we're going to get you to homeostasis. And homeostasis is great because we can find balance. We can improve blood markers. So your blood panels through your doctor can be increased. We can look at where maybe you had some issues with some hormones that needs to be fixed by staying at homeostasis or maintenance for several months, maybe even a longer period of time, like a year or so. It just depends on how much damage you've done. Or maybe you're in a great spot and you just want to tone up a little bit. We just do some micro tweaks. Just to give you guys an example, I had a client come to me. They were at 1,200 calories for almost 2 years. They lost a lot of weight. The downside is they plateaued for about a year and a half. All they did was try to increase how much training they did. Sometimes doing 2 workouts a day, plus walking, plus accessory things on the weekend with friends. Some of them would go to dog parks. Some of them were going on runs, running a 5K every month. All these different things, but they never changed their calories. They stayed at that 1,200 because that number worked for them at one time. What happened is they become metabolically adapted to that area. And unfortunately, no matter if they work harder or not, their body kept adapting. And so ultimately when they said, man, I'm just so burnt out, I'm gonna take some time off. Unfortunately, they stayed on the 1,200 calories, but they cut the weight training down to 2 days a week, and they just did daily walks. Now that sounds like a pretty easy life, 1,200 calories, walks, and then only 2 workouts, a lot of time freedom back in their life. Downside, their body was so used to all those workouts, during that time where he thought he was going into a metabolic restoration phase and letting his body heal, he was actually putting on body fat because 1,200 calories and he wasn't burning nearly as much. He was actually burning about a quarter of what he was doing based on the Apple Watch data that he was sharing with me. And it was really hard for him to go through a real restoration phase. The real restoration phase did take about 9 months just to get him back to a level to where we started seeing changes. So he did have to put on a little bit more weight, but the benefits are we got him up to 3,200 calories. That sounds great. Everyone's like 3,200. Big plus for him. Once we hit that point and we stayed there for a few weeks, his body fat started going down. His energy levels were through the roof. He maintained energy throughout the day. He actually cut all caffeine out of his diet completely. And he went from having irritable, restless sleep that we tracked through the Apple Watch, which was around 3 to 4 hours of total sleep with about 20 to 30 minutes of that being awake time. He actually ended up getting an average of 7 hours plus a week. That included 2 nights out with friends where he did stay out a little later, but that next day we planned to sleep in a little bit. We went to 4 days a week of training. Originally, we were just doing the walks, and the 2 days, we got him up to 4 days a week of training. And then 1 day of, we have a local place here, Stone Mountain. He loved doing that if the weather was nice, so he'd go run up the mountain and back twice. So that was really it. There was no crazy miracle change. It took some time. He trusted the process. So if you have any questions about fat loss, maybe this resonated with you, maybe you have some more questions to dive deeper on a few of these topics, feel free to shoot me a message either on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I'd be happy to help you along. And if you're interested in any of our coaching services, in the description below, you can find information on how to contact us, or you can reach out on spitzfitness.com. Again, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'd love to hear from you guys. See ya.